Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Men are natural leaders.
Young men are born with testosterone. They're born with this alpha personality. Most men are. And that translates well into being leaders, into having leadership roles. Them being stronger, more dominant, they tend to fall in that position to be leaders.
Yeah, I certainly agree that there's definitely, boys and men are born through evolution come equipped with certain hormones and traits that allow them to become into leadership positions, whether that's in, because of their strength characteristics or because of their testosterone, their hormone, or because those hormones provide them with, a little bit more responsive and less reactionary decisions. So the equipment that men and boys are born with gives them a little bit of a biological advantage in certain industries and certain things, like military or sports or whatnot.
I think men are encouraged to be leaders. I do not think women are encouraged to be leaders. So whether or not it's inside of you or not, I think when you are in the space of male and female, men are always encouraged to take these spaces where women are not necessarily encouraged to take the space. So I personally believe that is not innate within men. It's just something that within the world and society, men are encouraged to take these more leading positions.
I think it's important to understand what area of leadership we're talking about. And that's why I didn't step forward, because if you're talking about the workplace or things that typical male qualities translate well into leadership, then yeah, I would agree that men naturally have a tendency to be leaders. But to me, leadership is defined by something much bigger than that. A mother being a mother to her kids and protecting her kids is one of the best leaders of anything in the human race. So to me, it's leadership isn't a quality that is something that it has to do with sex. It's something that every human being should be living up to just by exemplifying the qualities that they want to see in the world within themselves.
And I guess I'm slightly sexist in this. I think that men should lead. So in encouraging young women to be the best version of themselves, which I encourage by and large, and I believe that men should still be able to lead a family. And with a strong wife. Like my wife is strong. I mean, she could go harder than me, but I still lead my family because that's my position, and I think that's what I show my son. But I would never discourage to be the best version of themselves. However, I do champion that men are to be in a position to lead properly. That doesn't mean one is greater than the other. That's just a position.
My sister was LAPD in the 1970s. Okay, she was one of the very first women on the police force. Can you imagine how difficult that was for her? They didn't want her. They would do mean things to her. The men would do mean things to my sister because they did not want to see a woman in that position, because they did not think a woman was capable of being a police officer, right? So fast forward today, we have lots of women police officers. I even think we have police chief women, right? So I think, again, it also comes with time and the changing of things. But what about a gay family? Do you think that it's okay for a woman to be in charge of that family, even though it's two women raising that child? Or do you think there needs to be an actual father figure within that space?
Well, no, I do think that there needs to be a father figure within that space. Of course, I don't necessarily agree with that structure.
Okay.
I think that there's a godly structure that should be there. But, obviously we live in America and people have their own lives. But I do think young men, just say a young man is born into that situation or whatever the case may be, I think there needs to be an example of a man to that young boy. And if it was a girl born in that situation, there should be a male figure so they can be able to diagnose, if they're not homosexual, that they can diagnose, what does a man look like? What do I look for in a man? How? So I think that there has to be masculine and male definitive positions, even within that a female
I agree
family.
with that, actually, and that's a loaded question in
it
itself. But I do think that's my responsibility, especially because I want kids, whoever I end up with, we have to really dive deep into what is masculinity and what is femininity, and where can we achieve that balance when raising kids, because it's very important, and to me that is a godly balance. Now, do I agree to say that it's something that is immoral to do? No, but I think that that balance is what's really gotten humanity to where it is, and it's the family structure that makes a lot of people successful and what created America. So we have to preserve it.
I have a leadership question for you guys. So, Buck, I know earlier you mentioned that since transitioning in 1992, you grabbed the check. That's a leadership position. That's a leadership role that you're taking there. So I'm curious. Is that something that is kind of built in society where the men, provide for their families, and you grab the check.
That's right.
And that's something you take pride in. So I mean,
That's right.
are you guys? Is that something that you've started doing? You've taken that leadership
Well, I
role?
kind of laugh at it, to be honest with you. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at this. Here's my male privilege.
Yeah.
I get to pay the bill. But on some level, I find it funny because it is so in the system.
Yeah.
It's in
It's like
society,
in
right?
society, yeah.
But I am a leader. I have taken a leadership role in my work and what I do in the world. How I'm a speaker, and I took that leadership role. But I did not take that leadership role until I became a man.
Yeah.
Because I guess I just wasn't comfortable enough taking that leadership.
I feel like I've always taken that leadership role, especially even before transitioning, because I played basketball and I was always team captain. So I feel like I said earlier, it was just innately in me to take that leadership role.
In my field of work, a lot of my leaders have been women that have taught me how to run a successful business. So as a leader, it's just something that I think is a characteristic. You either have it or you don't. I don't think just because you're a man, you have it. Because I've had very horrible managers. They say there's a difference between a manager and a leader. And a leader is defined by how they take care of their team, how they present themselves, and another thing is leading by example. So I think for me, just being a leader is just something that you either have or you don't, and it's a characteristic that not everybody is born with.